but I wanted to introduce some of the stuff for you to be thinking about here. So remember, there's processes to pay for. We broke the listing process into two things, but there's really three parts that I want to get ready for. And this is a little bit more mentally, emotionally being prepared for it. The pre-listing process, getting ready to go to market, has its own set of challenges. Then when you're live and it's being actively marketed, it has its own set of challenges. And then when it's pending in contract going to closing, there's its own set of challenges there. So I wanted to give you some information about what to be ready for and the different types of stress that may show up and the different kind of surprises that can show up at each point in the process. Hopefully, whatever team you end up working with has their own process to help manage all of this for you and to help navigate it for you to keep it really smooth and ideally as stress-free as possible. So when you're getting ready, pre-listing, you're going to want to decide which type of sale do you want to do. And I've been teasing that a little bit because there are a few different ways to sell your house and things for you to consider when looking at it. So you want to decide what kind of sale do you want to do. Then you want to decide what to do. Do you want to go with like an as-is sale and not do anything? Do you just want to kind of get it retail ready and have it in good shape for an easy deal? Or do you really want to get aggressive? Do you really want to go after that top dollar mentality and get the house dialed in and do everything you can to optimize it? Then you got to identify the team and qualify the team for executing that. Then create the budget and the schedule for doing all of that different work. Again, I mentioned all the different tasks in our checklist that we have going on. We have a dedicated project management platform that we use to run all of these projects through. And we meet a couple times a week to make sure that everything is on track and on schedule for them. But you want to create your budget, create your schedule, and then execute that plan. If you're hiring an agent and you don't want to do all that stuff, then make sure they're capable of doing that and that they can do that for you if that's a service that you're looking for. Do keep in mind, real estate is almost always bumpier than what you want it to be. This is not a production line of building cars here. There's variables that happen. There's surprises that come up. There's crazy things like COVID from a few years ago where people got into contract one day and the next day the government shut down and the bank shut down and title and escrow shut down and they couldn't record anything. That's an extreme example, but things can come up. The process can be bumpy. Hopefully it's a little bit more like a kiddie roller coaster and not a big terrifying theme park roller coaster for you, but just be ready and be prepared for little surprises to come up. And again, if you've hired a good team, that should be minimal. Probably a lot of stuff happens that you never even know about because they're taking care of it for you. But you do want to be prepared for some little surprises. Don't be overreactive. Just be ready to handle them as they come up. When you go live on the market, do be patient. It can be nerve-wracking. There's a lot on the line, but be patient, trust the process while being ready to act fast. Showings can come up short notice. Sometimes people are just like in the neighborhood. I'm here. I'm ready. Can I jump in and take a look at the house? Be ready to act fast to get out for a showing potentially. And for negotiating, one of the offers that I got for today, they put me on a clock. And so we have limited time to respond or their offer goes away. Sometimes you may need to be ready to act fast to negotiate the offers, to do counter offers, things like that. Have a plan. We set a plan for all the clients that we work with going into the process. Here's what we want to do. Here's what we see the first week, 2 weekends looking like. Here's what we're going to want to do between weekends 3 and 4 if we're still on the market. So we're always looking a little bit forward. We have some backup plans. We have our own contingencies to help successfully sell the house for you. Once you've created that plan, trust the plan. When you're making, I love the Mike Tyson quote, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. You want to be able to take a couple body blows and still stick with the plan. If something big happens like COVID or like big interest rate spikes or something of that nature, then yeah, you might have to veer. I've had a couple odd situations show up where I brought a house on the market and the next day somebody brought a similar house on the market. They were incredibly motivated. This was new construction and an investor property came on the market down the street, almost the same house, but they had a fire sale that they were heading into foreclosure and they came on way less so that everybody was looking at our house and wanted to buy their house. and we had to just weather that storm a little bit. We couldn't just change our price to react to that. We had to let that one get sold while staying patient because we knew we were priced right. That was a rare situation. But then we had to handle all the buyers that came in that were like, well, I could have bought that place for less. And we had to educate them. We knew our plan was good. We ended up selling for more than what we thought we were going to, but we had to trust the plan and stay true to the process and work the plan. Again, if you're looking at hiring an agent that's just planning to put a sign in the ground and then wait for an offer to come in, they are not working the plan. You want to hire somebody that has a plan and is going to do work on your behalf, everything that they can to get your house sold. This can be a very nerve-wracking process. I understand it, especially people get through the first weekend and they see, oh man, everything's selling so fast. It's not. Sometimes you got to wait a little bit. There's buyers that get nervous and they keep going into multiple offer situations and they don't want the heartbreak that comes with that anymore. So they're not going to go early. They're going to wait a little while when they can be in a non-competitive situation. Doesn't mean they're not going to make a good deal. Doesn't mean they're not going to be fair. They just have been on their own emotional roller coaster and they want to stay away from it. So trust the process. If there's no offers, there's one kind of stress. If there's a few offers, there's another kind of stress. Sometimes there's too many offers. I did a deal a little while ago now that ended up with like 19 offers, and I've seen deals with 40 or 50 offers, which is its own kind of stress of how do you vet all of those and what do they look like and how do you pick the best and then work them and do all these other things. So there's different challenges. Just be ready that things are going to come up. Your team can help you work through them if you do a good job on the front end picking the right team. Once you get pending, this is a different kind of challenge, a different kind of stress because now you're in contract and now it feels so much more real. But there might be some contingencies, and contingencies can create a little stress. Will the inspection go okay? Will the financing be all right? Will the appraisal come in? Just stay calm and clear the hurdles. Your team should be working on all this stuff, handling most of it for you. Just stay calm, clear the hurdles, and if an issue comes up, deal with it. Do be proactive on completing any tasks that need to be happening. If there's repairs that you need to do, if you need to be getting utilities shut off or transferred, if you need to be getting packed up and moved out, do be proactive on those. Nobody likes the fire drill at the end. So be proactive in taking care of stuff so that if something does come up, you have the time and energy to deal with it and to handle it in a way that is as peaceful as possible. Do keep in mind that deals aren't done until the money is wired. This market's been pretty solid and pretty straightforward for the most part. COVID, a lot of deals blew up just because the banks tightened up. People kind of forget about that a little bit, but the banks really did tighten up. A lot of banks quit lending for a few weeks to a month, and deals blew up as a result. So the deal's never done until the money is wired, until the money's in your account. Something could happen. So just be aware of that, be prepared, be excited, but understand the deals aren't done until they're there. Reminder, be ready for the bumps. Ideally and usually they're just little molehills and not big scary cliffs that you're going to fall off of. Hopefully your team is communicating with you around the size of the risk, the potential impact to your transaction, things like that. But some little bumps are going to come up. You should be able to navigate them, be ready for them. Don't be overly reactive. Just take a look at it, see what your options are, and move forward.